Okay, so I'm going to talk about smart manufacturing systems in general in a manufacturing plant. I'll try to explain the pain points and how you can implement the smart manufacturing system actually without really a lot of trouble in terms of effort and also the budget. So let me just introduce myself. My name is Mustafa Öztürk. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of ProManage. I've been with the company for the last 4 years. I'm also the R&D director in charge of the R&D group. I have a PhD degree in artificial intelligence from the University of Florida, and I have worked at Seagate Technology before ProManage, where we developed storage systems and hard drives. Okay, so let's just start with ProManage. I'll try to explain the company just a little bit. So we are the leading provider of digital manufacturing solutions since 1998. So we've been working on this for the last 24 years. And Chicago is our headquarters of international operations, which was founded in 2017. As I said, we only focus on digital manufacturing management systems, IoT based. So we only have two different products, ProManage and ProManage Cloud, and we also have IIoT devices for data collection. So those are the devices that we use for somewhat older machines for data collection if the machine does not have its own PLC or any of the protocols that we support. We also work on AI and machine learning implementations in manufacturing. So some of the examples I'm going to give are predictive maintenance and predictive quality. So we, with our diverse customer base, some of them are very deep in digital manufacturing. So we do projects where we try to predict quality problems before they occur. We also do computer vision applications where we use computer vision for counting, for example, a repair operation, counting the products in an assembly line to figure out whether the assembly operation is done properly or not, or we use it for detecting quality problems for a given product. We work on manufacturing industry in the discrete and batch. So, I also see a lot of different from the audience. I see automotive, metal processing, home appliances, packaging, plastics, food, FMCG, pharmaceutical, self-care products. So those are the industries that we work with. We are 130 plus engineers working on our R&D, and we have 4 different mainly types of engineers: electronics, mechatronics, computer, and industrial. Each of them have a different role. Electronics engineers are the ones that design our IoT devices. Mechatronics engineers are the ones that work with the machines to collect the data, either directly from their PLCs or through our IoT device, the smart counter. Computer engineers are the ones that develop our solutions. And then industrial engineers are the ones that work with the customer, both in terms of onboarding, installation of the system, but as well as guiding the customer throughout the process and consulting them on how they can improve their processes. Let me go to the next slide. So we are right now we are in 5 different continents. So we are a global company. We are obviously in US, South America. We have very strong presence in Europe and also in the Far East, Japan, China, and the Far East countries like Pakistan, India, Vietnam, etc. At this point, we're tracking more than 30,000 machines and more than 300 plus customers. So some of the customers that we work with probably some of them are very familiar with you. 3M in some of their factories are using our solution. Siemens uses ProManage solution. Schneider Electric, Nitto Bento. So some of these Japanese companies like Aishin, Nitto, they're large suppliers of Toyota, Lincoln, Haribo. you probably all know Haribo. They are using our system in their both in their production line and also in packaging. So we also have a lot of packaging customers like Mondi, Haribo. We have Grainier Packaging, Sealed Air previously. We also are very strong in home appliances, Bosch Siemens home appliances, Arçelik Beko. These are very large customers in Europe. So some of the typical improvements using ProManage. So these are all written statements from the companies. Actually, you can find them on our website. So this is Bosch Siemens home appliances, 18% improvement in overall equipment efficiency, 20% reduction in breakdowns, 30% reduction in setup times. Maxion, this is again a Maxion Wheels is a global company producing wheels, 20% improvement in overall equipment efficiency, 75% reduction in breakdowns, 80% reduction in setup time. So again, you can find a lot of similar letters in our website. So let's go deep on how we help manufacturers. So manufacturers actually have typically four challenges. Product design. So you all work with product design, have to innovate constantly. And then efficiency and agility are those two things that we help the manufacturers. With efficiency, we lower the production of the cost of production, and then we help companies deliver products faster. So how do we do that? So machines stop actually whether you measure them or whether you're measuring at this time or not. So in US, average machine utilization is about 40%. So what this means is for a given amount of time, only 40% of that time is used producing a product that you can actually sell to the customer. The rest is being lost to, for example, setup times, waiting for a material or waiting for a semi product. The machines fail, so it can be, there could be a lot of different failure mechanisms. So those are the times you also lose, and then quality losses. So all these different types of losses results in the manufacturers to use only 40% of their time for useful manufacturing. And any company that we start working with, typically we see around 40% or lower. But if you want to be a world-class manufacturer, you have to be at 85%. I mean, this is the gold standard. And what we do is we help companies go from 40% to 85%. This is actually equivalent to doubling your production without really buying any new machines. So there's a question about the slide deck. So I will be able to share the slide deck to you, no problem. Okay. So how does the system work, and how do we actually go from 40% to 85%? So I'll start talking about our system topology. Actually, what we do is we do collect data from the shop floor. It starts with really having the data, collecting the data automatically on the background reliably, and having it in real time, so that you can react to, you can see what's happening, and then you can react to it. So this is a typical topology of our system. So if you look at the right side, so you can see the machines. So these can be all sorts of different machines. It can be a CNC machine, plastic injection machine. It can be a printing machine. A lot of different machines in automotive industry, again packaging industry. It can be in personal care industry. So a lot of different machines that we work with. So there are two ways we actually collect data from machines. The first way is if the machine already has a PLC or some sort of protocol that's standard. Like for example, if it's a CNC machine, we can connect to it with a MT Connect protocol or a Focus protocol, or we can also connect it through OPC, OPC UA, OPC DA. There are a lot of different protocols. We actually natively directly can connect to those machines with a PLC on them. All we have to do is within a factory, all we have to do is install a very small software to a standard PC. start talking to the machines either through PLC, or if the machine does not have a PLC, we have our own IoT device, what we call smart counter. We would be collecting data through the smart counter from the machines. So what we have to do is install this edge software on site, and then the system will go up and running on the cloud. So we use Oracle Cloud as our cloud service provider, but we have our own software that's running on Oracle Cloud. One thing that I want to talk about is actually, before the cloud solution, or before maybe 2 years down the line, 2 years before, we used to have a long analysis cycle of going into the factory, analyze the machines, and then do coding. So we would have a long, implementation time, close to maybe 2 months or more. With ProManage Cloud, since we have it on the cloud, and since we have the system all productized and all configurable, actually we can go live within half a day or a day. So all we have to do is connect the smart counter, or connect to your PLC. All we have to do is install a simple edge software, and then the system is up and running. So it's typically a half a day or a day, depending on the size of or the number of the machines. The system can go live. So some of the tools, actually, I'm going to do a short demo as well. Some of the tools within the system, we have online machine monitoring, where you can actually see all of your machines in one shot. You can see the status of all your machines. So you have each of these boxes represent a machine. Different colors means whether they're running or they're stopping for, and why they're stopping. And then you can actually see a lot of different KPIs within these boxes. I'm gonna just do in 1 second a quick demo. So we have a machine history where you can actually see each and every cycle of the machine. So this is time axis on the x-axis, and y-axis can be, for example, the production cycles. You actually see each and every one of your production cycles in the machine history, and you can also analyze your cycle time, which is an important part of the losses within the system. We have dashboards. These are all configurable, designable dashboards. You can actually, in this one, we are seeing the machine, what's the number of products it produced, what's the speed. You can look at the production speed, whether you are ahead of the plan or behind the plan. You can see all these different things within one dashboard. Let me actually just do a quick demo here. Okay, so I think you can see so this is our interface. For each of the companies that work with us, we will give them a separate domain name, and we'll give each of your users, unlimited users, can access to the system, to your own system. So this is our online machine monitoring tool, where actually you see your machines and you see the data associated with each of these machines. So right now I have 2 machines in this company. This is a demo account. So I'm looking at machine 1 and 2. So in this view, I'm looking at the part code. So machine 1 is producing part 2, machine 2 is producing part 1. So I have planned quantity and remaining quantity. So I planned 5,000 of part 2. So far I produced this much. I have produced 240 within the shift for this product, and I don't have any scraps so far. And then within the shift I have 2,645 products, no scrap, and then for also operator I have this much data. So here I can actually easily change the information type that I want to see. So I can be looking at the shift, for example. Within the shift, I would be looking at how much time has elapsed within the shift. how long of a stoppage this machine had. So machine 1 had 49 minutes of stoppage, how much of a runtime it had, and then how many products it produced. So actually I can select any of the information that I want to see here. I can even actually customize what I want to see within these boxes. We have more than 300 KPIs. So elapsed time in shift is one, production quantity is another. If I go back to quantity, so planned quantity, remaining quantity, these are all KPIs. So you can actually design what you want to see here, customize what you want to see here, and each user can do it as well. So a production guy might be looking at production metrics, quality guy might be looking at quality metrics, a maintenance guy might be looking at maintenance metrics as well. We also have the ability to filter some of this data. So for example, if I look at technician here, if there is an intervention with a technician, I can filter it, and I can see that there is no machines with an intervention by a technician. Or if I look at technician call started, so there is no machines with a technician call. So let me go back to the original one. And I also see a rough, I also see a summary of what's going on. So my edge is online. I have both my machines are stopping. So it's saying no running. Two of them are stopping. None of my machines are offline. So this is our online monitoring tool. I'm going to show you our dashboards. So this is again, these are all depending on your package, these are all customizable. You can actually design your own dashboard. So this is one dashboard. We call it machine cockpit. So we're looking at, let's say, machine. You can look at different machines here. So if I'm looking at machine 1, so the code, the machine group, what's its status, how many I produced so far within the shift, what I would have expected to have produced if I didn't have any stoppages or performance losses. So I'm actually, I have lost about 200 products. So here we're looking at the last 24 hours, how many products I produced within each hour. So you can see it's going up and down. In the bottom, you can see what's my average cycle for each product. So I had around 30 seconds. This is a demo account, so there isn't a lot of variability within cycle time. But if you had variability, you would see it very clearly here. So I'm also looking at my machine status. It's been stopping for the last 10 minutes. It actually exceeded my my targets for a stoppage. So my maximum target is 10 minutes, but it's now it's more than 10 minutes, so it's showing me as a red button. And then the time distribution within the last 24 hours, good production, and what are my losses. So again, you can have different dashboards. So there's standard dashboards that come within the system, but with different packages, you can actually design your own dashboards as well. So let me just show you the operator interface. So what we call the operator interface. So let me go log into one of the machines. So we have machine 1. So this is the interface that the operators would be seeing. So it actually shows me the operator, what job I'm working on. The operator can actually enter stoppages. So we have different types of stoppages. Actually, this is a hierarchical way of doing stoppages. So in this one, I don't have a lot of different stoppages, but actually you can, we want this to be very, very detailed so that actually you can analyze it later. Same thing, scraps. I can actually come here. I can do a entry for a scrap. So I can say, okay, 100 units. I can also say, okay, scrap on the lower right side of the product. I can enter this. Oh, so it doesn't. Oh, okay. So it doesn't let me actually enter scrap of more than 50 at a time. This is again a parameter. We don't want operators entering the scraps at one. Actually, we want them to be entering as they occur. So there's a parameter within the system that actually you can only define so many scraps at a time. So actually, as you can see, as soon as the scrap is defined, I got an email from the system saying machine one quality problems. Because I'm going to show the definition as well, and actually the system is also giving me alert here. Anybody looking at the system actually would be seeing this alert. The operator entered it at the same time. As you can see, I get an email. I could be the manager, quality manager, and if I define a certain threshold for a quality ratio, let's say I can't have more than 1% scrap within a shift, the system will automatically alert whoever is in the email chain or whoever is in the escalated warning system. I can do a technician call here. So machine one, I can do a technician call. Oops. So the technician call has started. So the operator has entered the technician call. I could be the technician. So what I would be actually looking at is the online monitoring, machine monitoring system, and then I would actually be have this filtered. So the system only would be showing me machine one because this is the only one that requires an assistance from a technician. So as a technician, I can be logged onto the system. I don't have to be walking around the shop floor. Anytime the technician needs my help, he's gonna just have to press it within the system. All I have to do is looking at the screen, or I can also be getting emails as soon as this technician call has started, so that I know which machine I have to attend to. And again, so I got an alert from the system saying technician call alert. And I have a technician call. There has been a technician call for machine one. Technician has not attended the call in the last 1 minute. So I can set up the system to have an escalated warning system. So the technician, if I have a target for the technician to attend to a call, let's say within 5 minutes, the technician's manager will get an email as soon as that target has been reached. And then, if the technician hasn't attended the call for a long time, again, you can have different targets. The system will will alert you. So let me just show you how that works. This is again, so what we call ProGuard. So I have this event list. So I had an alert for a maintenance technician call. I just go in here. I look at the details. So I can easily define this. So for machine group one, when the maintenance technician call has exceeded 1 minute range, so there will be an event name trigger. So it'll email to any of the users that I want, and it'll tell me any of the. So it'll give me a subject saying technician call alert, and then I can fill in the contents however I like it to be. And also you can specify whether you want this to be done 24/7, or you can do it only on the weekdays or only within your shift. And there's a lot of different event lists that you can configure. Like you can have targets for stoppages, you can have targets for scrap ratios, you can have target for OE. So the system will actually do the monitoring for you. You don't have to be looking at the screens all the time. I'm going to talk about the machine history tool. So the machine history tool actually records. So the system records each and every cycle. So if we come in here, look at it. Actually, you can see every time. So the x-axis is time. The y-axis is my cycle. So every time there is a production, actually you can see it within the system. And you can also see the stoppages. So if I go zoom in here, the production count is stable. It didn't increase, so that means I have a stop. I can go and look at it here. I had a setup stoppage. I can see the duration of it. I can see who the operator is. I can see the start and end time. So I can actually see all that data here. I can look at cycle times. So if I maybe get rid of stoppage, I can look at my cycle times. I can actually go zoom in and look at each and every cycle of the production, and I can see there's a maybe bimodal distribution here, but you can actually look at all that different data. Like you can look at what the job was, whether there was a slowdown, operator, technician, if there was a technician call, etc. So this is our short-term analysis tool. Let me just do the. You can also do a cycle time histogram. Actually, here what we can do is, let me just reduce the limit here to 40. You can actually see the distribution of the cycle time. So if there is, if your cycle time for a product is, you expect it to be within certain, you want it to be tightly controlled, but if there are any outliers, you can actually look at your histogram. You can look at why this happened, etc. So you can actually see your cycle time. You can analyze your cycle time histogram in detail. So let me actually look. Okay, so the technician alert is also in here. Let me actually show you a couple of the reports. These are very, so our reporting system is such that you can actually take action. So let me just select a time where there is data. This is a demo system. So let me just select this one. Okay. So this is what we call TEEP waterfall graph. I have selected a week of time, the first week of April. And what this is showing me is, in a big picture, what's my actually machine utilization is. So on the leftmost side, you can see the total time. So this is 10,080 minutes is what I have available within a week. And the first type of losses I have are capacity losses, where there is a holiday or there was no order, so I didn't really start the machine, or I was doing R&D activities. So I have my capacity utilization losses in the first part. So for this machine, my capacity utilization was at 80%. And this part is usually not the responsibility of the manufacturing, but it's more like the management or the sales team's responsibility, the capacity utilization. The losses to the right side of capacity utilization are within the scope of manufacturing team. And the first type of losses we have are the availability losses. So those are the stops or the times where the machine actually was not available for production. So I have failure type losses. The machine was doing setup. The machine was waiting for certain materials, etc. So from the capacity utilization to availability, so the ratio of running time to scheduled time is my availability. So this machine was available 82% of the time, and then I can and then it had lost about 18% because of either failure, setup, or waiting for material. So my availability was 82. The second type of losses are my performance losses, which means I expect the machine to produce a product within a certain time, let's say in 10 seconds, but the machine actually produced, or the operator actually produced the product at 11 seconds, which means I have a 10% loss. And those are typically minor stoppages or minor slowdowns. So in this case, my performance was at 89%. So it's the total theoretical time divided by running time. And then the last type of losses are my quality losses, where I had scraps. Again, these scraps are converted to time, and the ratio of good theoretical time to total theoretical time would be my quality losses at, in this case, at 98%. And then I have these two concepts, which is overall equipment effectiveness or total equipment effectiveness performance. And those are OEEs for OEE is the metric for manufacturing, and total equipment effective performance is my overall usage of the machine. So TEEP is 58 here, which is the total time that I used the machine. So 5799 divided by the total time available. The OEE was again good theoretical time divided by my scheduled time. So this part, as I said before, is the company's responsibility or the management's, and this part, which is OEE, is the manufacturing team's responsibility. Actually, this graph gives me in a very high level how efficient or how effective I am using my machines. And then actually you can go in, you can look at stoppage Pareto. Again, let me go back to a time where I have data. So first week of April. Okay, what this is showing me is within the first week of April, what was my biggest losses in stoppages. So actually, I had a large maintenance operation. So if I didn't have that, I would have saved 43%. So let me again get rid of that because that was plant maintenance. So actually, what you can see here is my biggest losses in terms of stoppages were weights. So I was waiting for a raw material, and I have lost 239 minutes, and I had about 22 of them. So if I somehow can get rid of this weight, I would actually save 31% of my overall stoppage reasons. So I would have saved this much time. And actually, once you see this, actually you can realize that you have a problem with coordination between different teams. So there's probably someone that you have that's responsible for replenishing the raw material to the machines. So what you can actually do is you can have a screen that actually shows, let's say you have 20 machines, and you can show this 20 machines, and you can actually, based on this data that we get from the system, actually you can predict when the machine will run out of raw material. And then actually you can have an unknown screen where you show the need for raw material for each of these machines, and the person who is responsible for bringing in the raw material actually knows exactly which machine to attend to. So this is a very simple actual problem that you can solve with the system, and you can get rid of all these this weight problems. Again, you can once you get rid of weight, then you can go to setup, mechanical problems, etc., and you can actually do Kaizen activities, lean manufacturing activities to solve each of these losses. The other thing I want to show is the scrap reason Pareto. Again, this is very similar to, let me look at, let's do current month. Again, this is similar to stoppage Pareto, but this is for scraps. And what it'll show me is what is my biggest losses in terms of quality. So in this case, I had scratch as my biggest loss, scratch within the product. I had missing piece, wrong color, assembly error, cable color problem. Again, when we work with the manufacturers, we try to make these reasons as detailed as possible and as hierarchical as possible, so that when the operator enters them, it's very easy for it to be analyzed later. Again, this will show what's my biggest losses in quality. One thing I want to show is actually you don't necessarily have to get these reports from the system. What you can do is you can just click report notification. Let's say weekly Pareto. Let me say, okay, weekly Pareto. This is my subject line. So send me end of day. Let's say send me at the end of Friday. And then you can say, okay, send it to Mustafa. So this will actually give us every Friday, it will be sending us this report. So we don't necessarily have to We don't necessarily have to look at the system all the time. Okay, I can go more, but maybe I'll just show one other thing. Dashboard design tools. So actually, you can come here and you can design your own dashboards. There was a dashboard that was already somewhat designed. So I want to add, for example, report display. I want to add some report here. I wanted to show today's values. I say add. Right. So this I immediately have this added here. I can add any other data that I want to see. I can be looking at I can be looking at counter values. I can be looking at technician. We have a lot of KPIs. Like I said, we have more than 300 KPIs. You can select whichever you want to see and then add it to the system. So I can save it. Then I can go back and look at, I think I added that one to dashboard 4. So actually you can see that the report just goes into the, comes into my dashboard. Okay, so I think, we have a lot of other tools. We have report factories. So I've shown you fixed reports, but actually you can also design your own reports. But I'm not going to go into that much detail. Let me go back to my presentation. Okay. So we talked about the system. We talked about all these tools. As I did a live demo, actually you can do you can get your automatic alerts notified to you. So technician call active for 30 minutes. I did one for 1 minute. So you can define all these different scenarios. So OEE can be less than 75%. As soon as OEE is below 75%, you'll get an email. If you don't want the machines, we don't want the machines working without an operator login. So as soon as a work has started without an operator, you'll get an email. Again, there can be a lot of other things that you define. So the system will actually guard your KPIs for you. So you have all these targets that you want to achieve. As soon as you have a mismatch, you're going to get an email from the system. So typically, so with ProManage, as soon as the companies use it, because everything is recorded in a real-time system, it's all on the background. It's a reliable real-time system. Typically, you would get a reduction in machine failure ratios. So the machine failures will reduce. The response times will dramatically increase because again, everyone is coordinated. So as soon as there is a technician call, technician knows he doesn't have to walk around. There will be pretty much no wait times because, as I tried to explain in the waiting for raw material example, wait times are more of a problem with coordination. So because we know the production happening for each machine, we can actually predict when you're going to run out of any material that you're looking at. It can be a raw material, it can be a semi-product. So the wait times actually will go to close to zero. You become a paperless factory, so there will be no manual data entrance. There will be no manual documentation. Nobody will be preparing reports. The system will be preparing the reports for you, and it'll be again, you can get it your email or you can get it from the system. Quality ratios will improve, and eventually your lead time, agility, effectiveness, and profitability will increase. This is a typical, this is again from one of our customers. It's a case study from our customers. They use the KPI called equivalent product per hour. So that's how much product they can produce or within the hour that they can sell to the customer. So they call it equivalent product per hour. The system, they were producing about 160 products per hour. So we went live at the end of 2016. They increased to 187, 197, and then they're around now 240 with the same number of machines. So this means they actually increased production speed by about 50%. Again, you can use this in different ways. You can, if you have a lot of orders, you can, you're producing more without really buying new machines. Or if you don't have new orders, you can reduce working days. We have problems with labor, so you don't have to work as many days now that you can produce, or you can use the machine more effectively. With the cloud solution, again, it's you can access it from anywhere. So we also have the mobile application. Any of the alerts, like email alerts or the system alerts, you'll see it on your iPhone, iOS, or Android app, and you can access your system anywhere in the world. Since it's a cloud system, it's all a free update. So and the way we update the system is we have more than 300 customers worldwide. So actually they give us a lot of ideas. So we have a system where we seek for ideas from our customers, and they give us a lot of ideas to implement. So we keep implementing them. So your system will be updated along with other companies within our system. So we have 7/24 support. So we have a system to get the support from our support portal, but also we give phone support 7/24. E-Academy. So we have a system where you actually we have a system where we have our industrial engineers implement the solution with you and train your employees. But at the same time, we also have an E-Academy where you can actually do an on-demand online video learning. So you can learn the whole system without the need for us. You can just watch the videos. You can learn about the concepts on OE, TEEP, etc. But you can also learn the concepts of how to get reporting, how to set up the system, etc. So we also have a modular system. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So we don't necessarily start from the whole system that I explained, but we go step by step. So let me just talk about those package options. Sometimes it's hard for companies to do a full-blown digitalization solution because it's scary. They don't really. The manufacturing. Sometimes the employees in manufacturing, they're not very used to, or it could be intimidating to start with the whole system. So we recommend a step-by-step approach. So we recommend you start with an on mobile or just a monitoring solution where we have the data collection going on. So the machine monitoring. So we collect the data from the machines. But we don't necessarily have the operators or technicians within the system. But you can, so they are not involved in the system. It's all background data collection. With this, you can actually get production quantities, run times, stoppage times, and cycle times. So you can get this much data without any involvement from the operators. You can have detailed reports to analyze your production history, and then you can analyze what's your stoppage, what's your running times, and are they really according to what you were thinking. And again, this is all real time. So anytime these metrics change, you'll be aware of it. In the digital package, we have technicians and operators involved in digitalization. So that means they can actually have that screen that I showed where they enter the stoppage reasons, scrap reasons, etc. And they can call technicians. So this is where it's our digital package, where in the first package, the team is used to the digitalization. In the second package, in the digital package, they're actually inside in the digitalization. They are involved in it. They actually now are tracking their KPIs. They're tracking the company's KPIs. So they're actually part of the digitalization. With the connected package, this is our advanced manufacturing operations management system, where actually now you have the product data, you have the work order data, you can do real-time planning. It's a no-code configuration tool, so it works for packaging, it works for personal care, it works for home appliances. So you can configure it with the help of our industrial engineers, and you don't have to buy a new system or anything like that. And then we can, with this package, we do a bidirectional ERP integration, which means we are getting product and work order data from the ERP, and we can be sending the production data back to the ERP. So this is our most advanced package. But again, we typically recommend you start from the on mobile, and then as every couple of months upgrade to the higher package so that you can actually grasp and have the team involved with the whole process. Again, we have more modules, so digitalization never stops. It goes all the way to AI. So we support you all the way going towards AI. So we have different modules. For example, we have the Pro Data module where you not only collect production data, but you collect machine, process, and sensor data. So if the machine has sensors in it, and if it has PLC, if it has OPC server, or etc., you can actually collect machine data from the machine. So you can collect sensor data, process data. You can collect alarms the machine produces, and then you can do SPC analysis, etc. We also help with maintenance operations management, so planned maintenance, preventive maintenance, the repair operations, how you manage all those operations, whether it's time-based or whether they are machine runtime based or product count based. We can do all of that. We can do quality operations management. So this actually you can, for each product, you can define test plans. Again, this is a very detailed module where we actually manage your whole quality operations, again, all digitally. And then quality operations management system involves SPC analysis, statistical process control analysis, which means you can actually track your quality metrics, and every time there's a deviation from the norm, or if there's a trend from the norm, actually you'll get notified immediately, even if you are within your quality acceptable quality range. Actually, you'll know if there's a trend, and you'll actually predict that you'll have quality problems before they occur. Again, more advanced traceability. We support forward and backward traceability, which means you can actually, for each product, you can label each product, and you can actually monitor the conditions with which it was produced, and that'll actually help with the supply chain if you're working with an OEM, or if you want to improve your quality metrics to know what's happening for each and every product that you produced. And then we have the energy consumption module. Given the energy prices are increasing, you can actually, with the energy module, you can actually measure your electricity, gas, water usage, and you can actually analyze it, because we know what product you're producing, because we know who's working on the machine, the operator, etc. We can actually tell you how much energy you consumed per product for each and every cycle of your production, and that'll help you analyze your costs and your energy consumption in detail. Okay, so let's see. There are some questions. So Ahsan, how much? The cost is one of our strong points. This is we're gonna give you. So I'll keep in touch with you, Ahsan. But yeah, the cost. I mean, this is one of the things that we want. We want this solution to be accessible. Again, it's we can install it very quickly. That's one thing, and it's also very cost effective. It's a cloud-based solution. Again, we have an on-premise version as well, but the cloud solution is very cost effective. So I'll be contacting you again. Dave has a solution. The question: is there any monitoring on the shipping side? So on the so we don't necessarily have the inventory management, if that's the question. We think that's more of an ERP problem. So we do collect machine data, and we manage your production operations, maintenance operations, quality operations, those three things. That's within the ISA 95 standard. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so there was a question about how many days it takes to set up the whole system. Again, depending on the number of machines, this is one of our strongest point, is that if you have a machine count of maybe 20, the system will typically be installed within half a day, and you'll be using the system the next day, as long as we have the as long as we have the infrastructure like an Ethernet cable. So our IoT devices will either work with Ethernet cable or Wi-Fi. So as long as you have a Wi-Fi or Ethernet infrastructure within your company, the setup will be about half a day. So there was a question about whether we have customers in packaging industry. Let me see if I have some. Okay, so I have some examples for food and packaging. So in food and packaging, so I think everybody knows Haribo, the gummy bear company. So we work with them, I think, since at least for about 10 years. We are both in their manufacturing process where they produce the gummy bears from the mold or from the mold, and we also are working with them in packaging those gummy bears within their packets. So Mondi is, again, it's a very large company in packaging. We work with them. Granier Packaging is also in multiple of their factories. We're there. Sartan, Bakambalay, so some of the companies that we work with. Which machines do we support? As long as so in discrete manufacturing, we support pretty much all machines. Let me see if maybe I also have the machine list here. Okay, so yeah, so these are some of the machines that we support. So CNC, so all machining, CNC, welding, cutting, bending, all plastic injection, whether it's plastic injection, extrusion, or blow molding, or the mold shop. We have customers, a lot of customers with these type of machines. We work with assembly lines. We have different solutions, including computer vision for assembly lines, robots, all types of packaging machines. We work with press brakes, sandblasting, plating, deburring. Again, we work with a lot of these, metal companies, like metal processing companies, like wheel production. So they have the die casting, heat treatment, paint shops. We work with quality stations. So you might have a lot of different CMMs or quality measuring devices. We integrate with them, or we collect data directly from them. You might be having X-ray machines depending on your process. We work with them. Textile machines we work with, and then other machines that are in discrete manufacturing we can work with. Any other questions? Okay, perfect. So yeah, keep in touch. I have my contact information here if you need any more questions. So I'll be talking with Asan. So you're in Hotchkiss, yep. So I know Dave. We met Dave. Okay. So if there isn't any more questions, I think I'm gonna end the meeting. Thank you for joining. I hope it was helpful. We'll be having more webinars like this where we actually share some of the experiences that our customers are having, some of actually specific examples of how they use digital manufacturing to improve their processes. And then we actually have typically we have a once a year meeting, and that usually happens at the Mediterranean coast, where we hundreds of our customers come together to share their experiences, and they teach each other. So we're going to do a mini version of that with our webinars. Thank you very much. Thanks for attending. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.